Hello, my name is Steve and I am the Eclectic Record Collector. This is my first video and I'm going to do the 2024 vinyl tag just to introduce myself and my records. So the first question is my favorite record purchase of 2023. Amon Tobin, Bricolage. Well, I like this album. It pushes all my audio buttons. The sound is excellent. The sounds themselves are complex and textured. The beats and samples and the instruments sound as if they're being made and played by a live human being in real time and not a program set to kind of repeat. While at the same time, it's feeling like a very satisfying, well-crafted series of compositions. The 14 tracks on Bricolage make a cohesive journey. So I wrote some notes down of that journey, and it's sort of like riding an elephant down to the beach where we dive in and snorkel around a reef, watching the fish dart and dodge away from some distant shark. Then we swim back to shore, talk to an ancient beachcomber, looking for bones and coins. Then it turns dusk, and we head back into the city where the bright lights and the gossamer whales that swim between the buildings and the steel and the glass and the tar, and into the subway to escape the sirens, only to find another kind of siren. And we escape that, back into the street, and off to the secret party where we connect and turn into electric flesh and light ourselves into the night, and awake in the morning on the beach in Brazil. Fun record. I really liked it. Saint Germain, Tourist, on Blue Note. When this album was released, I probably would not have bought it. I was still deep into all forms of jazz and the music of the 20th century, but now my musical horizons have expanded greatly, and every time I play Saint Germain, Tourist, it makes me smile. I even have a CD to play in the car. I no longer really need to be a jazz purist, so to speak, and a rhythm section of tasty samples played with the same touch as an acoustic instrument and then conducted by a single individual, in this case Ludovic Navarra, is just fine by me. And as I'm exploring the possibility of being a sometime DJ, play two turntables live, this will be in my bag. All right. Question number 3. A band or singer that released 2 or more albums in a single year. Well, that would be Jimi Hendrix. I have a lot of Jimi Hendrix. This is Axis Bold of Love, original tricolor. And this is Are You Experienced? And this is the mono. Can you see that? I think you can see that. The mono, which I think sounds the best of all versions of this I've heard. I could go on and on about Hendrix, but I'm not going to, because I got this, pile of Hendrix records. I haven't met one I didn't like. Okay, question number 4. If I only had listened to music from one decade, what would that be? Well, I would pick between 1957 and 1967-ish, because the first record would be this one, Mercury Living Presence, came out in 1957, and it's probably one of the best sounding records I've ever heard. The dynamics are amazing. The detail, it feels so alive. It was astounding when I played this on my system. Just astounding. And the bookend that would be, I think, the quintessential album of the 20th century. That's the Beatles' White Album. Question 5. A band or singer from Manchester. And I'm going to go with the Hollies. I like the Hollies. I have several of their records. He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. There's a couple others I like. and they're from Manchester. Question number 6. Who did you listen to the most in 2023? That would be Miles Davis. Only because I have a lot of Miles Davis records, and I wanted to go through and see which ones I really, really, really wanted to keep. Not an easy task. I got rid of a couple of them because I may have more than one copy. I only have one copy of this, and it's underappreciated, I think. I never see anybody talk about this record. It's a compilation of stuff from 1954 to 1962, his first records to Steamin', and it's just a really, really lovely listen. Miles is melodic, romantic, thoughtful. It's just a really nice compilation. Yeah. I also have a lot of copies of this. There's a story behind this one. It's an original stereo, and it has an original price tag, $15. I got this quite a while ago. Interesting story how I saved somebody's life, and he sold it to me, but he was appreciative. Anyway, next question. Question 7. 745s. Now I don't play a lot of 45s because I like to listen to a whole side at a time, and I just don't play them. But if I'm going to be a DJ, you got to have 45s, and I've always had them. I just don't play them much. For example, this is probably one of the first records I ever owned. Love Is All Around by the Trogs. And then you got to have Cosmic Blues by Janis Joplin. I have this on Speaker Corner reissue. It sounds amazing on Speaker Corner. It's probably the best version I've ever heard, but the 45, it's pretty decent. Les Paul, of course. Matthew Shipp solo piano. I don't know when I'm gonna DJ this, if I ever will, but how can you pass this up? Billy Joe Shaver. You gotta have some Billy Joe Shaver. Babyhead. I just got it because of the writing on it. Found it in a thrift store, but how could I pass it up when it says, "Sam, don't quit your band ever." Signed, I can't read who it is, but maybe they're in the band. They only made this one record, so I don't know if he quit or not. Charlie Nothing Band. Pretty out there. And just for extra, Liquid Soul. Love my Liquid Soul. All right. Okay, question number 8. If you had a dinner party, who would you invite? I think up to 10 people. My favorite question because I've had lots of dinner parties. I cook. And I have to say I'm probably pretty good at it, judging by how many people show up and the clean plates and things like that. So, inviting that many people to a party, you want to invite people who have something in common, they'll get along, and, party people. I wouldn't invite Miles Davis because I don't think he's really a party person. But I would invite Mozart. I would invite Herbie Hancock. I'd invite Ennio Morricone. I'd invite Joni Mitchell. I'd invite Dave Grohl. He's a real party animal, from what I can tell. I would invite Betty Carter. I would invite Agnes Obel. More about her later. I'd invite Paul McCartney, Duke Ellington, Tom Waits, and Harry Parch. And maybe Danny Elfman if I got room for him. I think that would make a pretty decent gathering. I'd love to have just a big long table and everybody sitting around having dinner. Always been a fantasy of mine. Question number 9. Show an album from an artist who passed away in 2023. That would be Tom Verlaine of television, Marquee Moon. This is my original first pressing, still in a shrink wrap. I heard of this album about 15 years ago, and people were remarking and raving about just how significant it was, the important influences, the jazz influences. So I spent some decent money and I bought a copy. And I don't really like it that much. I really couldn't really hear the jazz influence. And found it kind of a dreary, punkish new wave outing. I don't know. Maybe it's the vocals. Maybe it was the subpar mastering. I don't know. I'm going to sell it. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead to question 17. Because a classic 90s album, this one, Mad Season Above. Showing this because this album was everything that I was expecting in the television album, but really didn't get. The sound smithing is really quite good on this. Range of dynamics, plenty of jazz influences, as well as some American, bluegrassy influences, southern rock. Yeah, it's melancholy and angst, but it's delivered beautifully and with explosiveness when it's needed. I believe these guys are really about the music and not about an image. Love it. Okay, question number 10. If you only had to listen to one music for one country, as absurd as that is, I picked the USA, mainly because of jazz. You got some really great jazz coming out of the United States from the 50s all the way up until still to now, Yeah, hands down. Jazz, USA. It's an American music. Question 11. 3 channels of the video community that I was introduced to in 2023. Well, I haven't been listening to Vinyl Community all that long, so the ones I listen to most frequently right now would be Michael at 45 RPM audiophile, Dylan of Noble Records, Don at Searching for a Thread, whose title I'm rather jealous of because I kind of would have named my channel that if I had got there first. Also want to thank Chris Profi for his video. It said, just go ahead and do this. So thanks a lot, guy. And lately I've been checking out Embarrassment of Riches. And of course, Psychedelic. So that's more than 3, but there you go. Question number 12. Record I bought as a teenager. This is the first record I bought with my very own money. 11 Pipers, Green Tambourine. A mix of bubblegum pop and my introduction to what the hell psychedelia really was. Long form, just jam out, get into space. It really kind of turned my head. Question number 13, a funk or soul record. Ramp. This also is going to be question number 19, a record that sounds like a best of hits because this is the only record they made. Roy Ayers music production. To me, this sort of like charts and hits all the things that you want out of 70s soul funk music. Every track is good. Every track is a winner. Question number 14. An album that most everybody has and an album that most nobody has. It's the same album. Meet the Beatles, only it's the one without the ASCAP or BMI. Not that many people have that, I think. Okay, question 15. An album you bought by a female artist in 2023. That would be Agnes Obel, Citizen of Glass. I first heard this album Well, I first heard Agnes Obel. She sang the theme to a TV series called Cardinal. It was eerie and beautiful, and I had to find out who did that. So I bought the album, and I played it, and it reminded me of certain Nordic metal albums, only without the metal, without the dread, but a beautiful woman's voice and acoustic string instruments, choir, Trautonium, which is a early synthesizer made in the 1930s. Truly a really lovely, lovely, lovely record. The music on this album reminds me of when I was studying to be an artist in art school. It reminds me of a morning where I woke up from a dream where I was a painting. When I moved my arms and legs into the cool part of the bed, it was the color of azure blue, with bright yellow edges splashing in from the tawny purple of the warm parts of the bed. I tried and tried and tried not to wake up, to stay in that twilight plane. Eventually I had to wake up, but those sensations lingered with me throughout the day. That's what this music reminds me of. It's a vividly beautiful album, and I highly recommend it to anyone. Okay, question 18. An album cover you wish you could be a part of. Well, how about this one? I mean, somewhere in my house in a trunk, I have a pair of lederhosen, leather lederhosen, when I was 2 years old. It's been a long time, but, you know, singing, drinking beer, I mean, why not? But seriously, folks, if there's a record cover I really feel like I am a part of, that really I think I identify with more than any other, is this one, of the Sword. Something about that old car that's been fixed up in that salt plain. I don't know. I'm looking at my face on this. I'm looking kind of, I can see the resemblance. Okay. Okay, last question. An album from 1974. Charlie Rouse, 2 is 1 on Strata East. One of my all-time favorite albums, one that I would put in the perfect record bin. It's a mystifying blend of tones and riffs and multiple time signatures, cool, dark, chocolate funky fusions of guitar, bass, drums, cello percussion, and the ever-present Charlie Rouse on tenor sax holding it all together. The title track uses 5 different time signatures, and it never falters. It's like a heart rhythm, and the breath rhythm, and the muscle rhythms, and the head rhythms are all syncopated in a cool central nervous system sound of Charlie Rouse's tenor sax. 2 is 1 refers to a monk phrase, so Charlie Rouse's monk's saxophone is from nearly forever. The phrase he meant that 2 people are so in sync they act as one. Well, in this one I think the whole band acts as one. It's a really outstanding record. I highly recommend it. All right, thank you for listening to this. I hope to make some more videos. And I hope you don't mind I didn't do this straight through because I'm not that good at it. I'm going to use some editing. I'll see how that works out. And till next time, thank you very much.